been painting Dorothy. We kind of went through a few things on her. Got the two-tone paint, did a lot of blocking. Now it's painted, but it's time to block some more. If you can see up in here, this is pretty dull all the way through. Can you see that in the camera there? Then here, you see some kind of shiny lines in there still. If you remember, we used some black guide coat before to kind of see in between the waves. When you're doing your final buff, there's a couple reasons you're wet sanding here. We're trying to make this slick so that there's no orange peel at all. And two, if there's any dust or anything, we can sand that out. So definitely use a block. Gary's been doing this. So I'm just kind of going by what he's got here, but it looks like he's starting with 1500. Just using a hard block on this because it's a big flat surface and it's pretty easy to do. Wrap your paper on there. And then definitely use water as a lubricant. Just put a little water on. You can sand. And once you see everything has got the same dull finish and there's no shiny in between, you know it's flat all the way across. He's got a fancy, I asked him to get a squeegee. Boy, he had a fancy squeegee. It's helpful to have the squeegee to pull the water off. So once that dries, you can get a real good look at what it's going to look like as far as being flat, no orange peel, and all the dust being gone. We use a couple different compounds and a couple different buffing pads. You got a coarser pad and a finished pad. We use foam pads, and again with the compounds, there's a, what do we got here? We got a machine polish. So this is the polish, and this would be the compound. And these are not like the old abrasive compounds. These are more of a chemical reaction compound. So as you're buffing on it, it's making almost a chemical reaction to bring the shine back. So once we get the shine, it's going to be real deep. I mean, you can see the car over there. A little bit on the cowl's been buffed, but generally the whole car has not been buffed yet. The back of it, we're just starting to work on it. We'll mask everything off because the compound will get over. I went over that a little bit yesterday, I think. On this, if you're a bit of an inexperienced buffer, and I'll tell you what, I've always been the guy to say, you can do it, you can do anything. Just go for it. I'm telling you something you're never going to see me in. I do a lot of videos. Them old people that are jumping from stone to stone and in a creek, and they just have this awkward fall because they're clumsy and old, and they splash and we all laugh at it. Yesterday I tried to jump from one little loading dock to the next one. I face planted off a loading dock yesterday. So that's something that's off my list now. So there are certain things we can't do, and jumping from stone to stone in a creek, because I have a creek at the house, I'll use the little bridge or I'll get my feet wet. So that story is related to cars like this. All right, I buff cars a lot. I mean, a lot of cars. I would not mask this edge, but if I'm going to burn anything on this car, it will be this edge. It will buff through so much faster than buffing the flat spot. So what you could do, if you're new to buffing and you're a little just not sure of the buffer, and you know the buffer can get out of control. It's not like the old days. Some of the old guys remember the old Milwaukee grinders and buffers that weighed 400 pounds, and you really had to deal with it. But these are pretty light. They're adjustable in speed. I can turn it down. The pads are Velcro pads, so it just sticks on. But you got to watch the edge. This is a hard edge. Some of the pads will swing around, but if I turn on this edge and get it too much on the side, I can burn through there. Or if I hit the edge here, I can burn through pretty easy. But hitting on a flat, let the machine do the work. Let me put a little bit on here and see what we're going to come up to. You don't need too much, that's quite a bit of compound. That'll do a big area here, so you can kind of move it around. not going to spend a lot of time making you watch me buff, but when you buff, do it in areas. So get this area right, then move to an area, then move to the next area. It's pretty slick, not quite done. I'll go from this this compound to a lighter compound to more of a polishing compound when I'm done. And so it'll be buffed several different times with different pads and different compounds to get a real slick finish. And then most cars that we've done, I've seen after 3 or 4 years, they look better after they've been in somebody's garage and somebody's just detailed on it, detailed on it, detailed on it. All the paints that we use are activated urethane paints. They'll last a long time. The paint technologies nowadays are great. I mean, compared to what they were, say, 30, 40, 50 years ago, it's some really good technology. Let's go ahead and see what we got going on over here at least a little bit. Eddie's working on the door panels, just kind of setting it up. He was wanting to take it out of this spot and put it back into the upholstery shop here. I said, oh, you can do it after 11:05, but he's going to put the dome light in. You can see up here, if I can move, we've got this Plascore in the roof. It's a 1/2 inch thickness, so we can actually cut out where the dome light is going to go, and then cut along the edge for the wire to run in there. And then the headliner itself is going to actually be glued in. It's got a foam on the back side of it, and it glues in real nice. This has an overhead console. So we got to put the steering or the windshield wipers in and all that stuff. So this one's not on hold, but it's kind of on a weight pattern. We've ordered all the rest of the parts for the car. There's different ways to approach that. You can order everything at once and get it all ready to go, or you can get the big components of it, and then as you get down to the details, you can kind of just get all the rest of it. But it's nice if you're going to work in an area. If I'm going to work on this motor, it's nice to have all the motor parts, not to get to a little spot and then need to order another part or something. So we don't have that's from the last car. You can see over here on the board. What's that Q over there? But you see our board over there? I'll make that's good enough. I'm getting one of these signs. Once it gets to the point where you can actually count the things that you gotta still do, I mean, when you begin the car, there's no sense making a checklist of what you have to do, because it's like pretty massive. Some of the things are pretty obvious. But when we get to the end, we always make a list of everything we gotta do. We gotta, we gotta check the oil, check the tire pressures, make sure the lugs are tight. I mean, all those kind of things. And there's a lot more in between from that time to where it is now on this one. But it's handy to have that checklist, and then you can knock some stuff off too and see that you're making progress, because sometimes you might spend a whole day on just fiddling around to make a bracket work, but that bracket might be pretty important. So, and details, it's all about the details, so don't rush through. But that's it for today. We've got Dorothy coming along, talking to Ronnie and Goldie. Oh, I'm pretty excited. I'm pumped. He's got all this gold flake. He's a Big Daddy Roth fan, a Rat Pink fan, so we've kind of got a little bit of free reign to make this a tribute Roth car. So that's pretty cool. He's got a lot of shifter knobs, Roth shifter knobs and different things, so that's coming together. And the yellow car, we got some other ones. So we may not be on Dorothy tomorrow, but we'll definitely be back tomorrow. See you then.